I came home early from work that day. It was just after 4. I remember the sun was still bright, but something in the air felt off. The first thing I noticed was the car in the driveway. I didn't recognize it. Silver sedan, windows tinted. I parked behind it, confused but not yet alarmed. Maybe a friend? A delivery? I don't know. I didn't think too hard about it. As I stepped up to the door, I heard music, something soft, jazzy, like background noise you hear at a lounge. Not the kind of music we usually played. The door was unlocked. That was strange. We always locked the door, always. I walked in, expecting to smell dinner or maybe candles. Instead, I smelled wine and cheap perfume. The living room was empty. On the coffee table, 2 glasses, one half full, lipstick on the rim, heron, the other one empty. Still sweating. I called out her name, no answer. The hallway to the bedroom was quiet, but the music was coming from there. My heart started beating faster, like my body already knew what my mind refused to believe. I called her name again, louder this time. Still nothing. I pushed the bedroom door open, and there they were, him scrambling to pull his jeans back up, her sitting on the edge of the bed, a sheet barely covering her. Her eyes didn't even widen, no shock, no shame, just boredom. He grabbed his shoes and didn't say a word, couldn't even look at me. I stepped back, letting him pass. He rushed out like the damn house was on fire. I didn't stop him, I couldn't speak. My throat had closed up. She stood, wrapped the sheet around her, walked over to the dresser and lit a cigarette, calm as anything. Took a drag like this was just any other evening. Then she looked at me and said it. "You're not my owner." That was it. No, I'm sorry, no, it's not what it looks like. Just that. A cold sentence dropped like a brick. My chest burned, my hands shook. I felt like the floor dropped out from under me, but I didn't yell, I didn't cry, I just stood there. Something inside me broke. I turned around, I walked out of the room, out of the house, down the steps. I didn't say a single word, not because I didn't have something to say, but because I knew none of it would matter anymore. I drove without thinking, no destination, just the road and the sound of the engine. My hands gripped the wheel, knuckles white, my head full of noise. I didn't know where I was going, I just knew I couldn't stay there. Not with her, not after what I saw. I remembered the first time we met. College campus. She was sitting under a tree with a book in her hand and coffee on the grass beside her. She looked up, smiled, and I swear time stopped. We talked for hours that day. Everything felt easy, natural, like we'd known each other forever. We laughed about the same things, liked the same music, both hated group projects. It was all so simple then. We moved in together a year later. Cheap apartment, creaky floors, tiny kitchen. But it was ours. We painted the walls together, built furniture from a box, argued about where to put the couch, but it was the happiest kind of arguing. We had barely enough money to scrape by, but we had each other, and that felt like enough. We'd stay up late watching movies. Sometimes we'd fall asleep on the couch, her head on my shoulder, my arm going numb but not wanting to move. I told her I'd marry her someday. She laughed and said, "You better." Then we got jobs, saved up, bought a place, a real one. Nice neighborhood, clean walls, new furniture, grown-up stuff. We were building a life, step by step. I thought we were happy, but somewhere along the line things shifted. Late nights started becoming normal. She said it was work, always work. She stopped looking up when I came home. Her phone never left her hand, and she guarded it like it held state secrets. I'd ask who she was texting. She'd say, "No one. Don't be paranoid." We stopped watching movies. Dinners got quiet. She'd go to bed early, facing the other way. I thought maybe it was stress. I thought maybe it would pass. I made excuses for her, for us. I told myself all couples go through rough patches, that this was just a phase, but it wasn't. It was distance, real, growing distance, and I was the only one still trying to close it. Looking back now, all the signs were there. I just didn't want to see them. But today didn't give me a choice. Walking in on her like that wasn't just a mistake. That was a choice she made with full intent. A choice that tore through everything we built. She looked me dead in the eye and said I wasn't her owner. Fine, I'm not her owner, but I'm not her fool either. That night, her message came in around 9, just 4 words. Can we talk soon? I stared at the screen for a long time. My hands itched to type something angry, something sharp that could cut the way she cut me, but I didn't. I took a breath and wrote back, no. We already said enough. Then I turned off my phone. I didn't go home. Couldn't. The thought of walking back into that house, smelling her perfume in the air, seeing the bed where she betrayed me, it made my skin crawl. I ended up parked outside a 24-hour diner, lights buzzing overhead, the smell of fried food drifting out the windows. I stayed in the car, didn't even go inside, just sat there. Sleep didn't come easy. My body was tired, but my mind wouldn't quit. I kept thinking about her face when I walked in, so calm, so cold, not a hint of guilt, and that line, "You're not my owner," like I was some jealous stranger, not the man who shared a life with her. Around 3 a.m., I drifted off for a little while. When I woke up, the sky was starting to lighten. I rubbed my eyes and looked around like I'd forgotten where I was. I turned on the engine and started driving. There was only one thing I knew for sure. I wasn't going back into that house until something changed. I pulled into the parking lot of a locksmith shop just as they were opening. A guy in a cap stepped out, sipping coffee. He looked surprised to see me waiting. I walked up and said, "I need to change the locks. Front door, back door, garage, all of them." He blinked, then nodded. "Okay, got a break-in or something?" I shook my head. "Something like that." He paused, then asked, "Your wife locked out?" I looked him straight in the eye and said, "Not anymore." He didn't say much after that, just wrote down my address and told me to follow him in the van. On the drive there, I didn't think about her. I thought about me, what I needed, what I deserved. At the house, I waited outside while he worked. The sound of drills and metal clicking echoed in the morning air. It felt like something was finally being done, like a door in my life was closing for good. When he finished, he handed me the new keys. I took them without a smile, just a quiet thank you. As he pulled away, I stood at the door, the new lock shining under the early sun. I held the key tight in my hand. No more chances, no more second guessing, no more her. This was my house now, my rules, my peace. The locksmith walked through the house, checking each door. He worked fast, no small talk. I followed behind, silent. With each door he touched, something inside me felt heavier. It wasn't just locks being changed. It was memories being sealed shut. The hallway smelled faintly like her perfume, vanilla and something floral. She used to spray it in the mornings before work. I'd tease her for overdoing it. She'd laugh and wave her hands, walking through the mist like it was a cloud. That laugh used to make my day start right. We passed the kitchen. I saw the coffee mugs still on the counter, 2 of them. Mine was the plain black one. Hers had flowers and a chipped rim. We'd always argue about tossing it, but she loved it, said it had character. Now it just looked old and useless. The couch still had the throw blanket she always wrapped around her legs. I remembered movie nights, popcorn bowls between us, her feet tucked under my leg. She'd fall asleep halfway through and pretend she didn't. I'd let her pretend. It was our little game. The locksmith called out that he was almost done. He had a soft, careful voice, like he could feel the weight in the air too. I nodded, not really listening. My eyes drifted to the bookshelf. Our wedding album still sat there. I didn't open it. I couldn't. He asked if I wanted the back door done too. I said yes. Every door, every lock, every memory that could be opened had to be closed now. As he drilled into the last one, I stood in the middle of the living room, feeling like a ghost. This used to be my home. Now it felt like a museum. Everything frozen, nothing alive. He walked up with a small ring of keys and held them out. "Fresh start, man," he said. I took them without a smile, just a slow nod. After he left, I stood at the front door. The new lock gleamed in the sunlight, a small, shiny piece of metal, but it meant everything. I slid the key in. It turned smooth, easy, like it belonged there. I looked around the quiet house one last time. The silence was heavy, but it was mine now, not shared, not broken. I whispered to myself, "I'm done." No yelling, no tears, just truth. She walked out on us the moment she let someone else into our bed. Now I was walking out on her, for good. This time she wouldn't be able to come back. The doors were locked, the chapter was closed. Later that night, the banging started, loud, angry, desperate, fist against wood, again and again. Her voice followed, yelling my name. First loud, then louder. She kept calling over and over like I was supposed to come running. She was outside in the cold, in the dark. No keys now, no way in. The lights were off, but I was standing just behind the door, listening, calm, still. Not a single word from me. She kept yelling. Then her voice cracked, and the yelling turned into crying. Big sobs. The kind that used to make me rush to comfort her. This time I stayed. Still, still. My heart didn't move. My hands didn't reach for the lock. She begged me to open the door. Said she made a mistake. Said she didn't know what she was thinking. Said it meant nothing. That it was just a moment, just a slip. I stood there silent, listening to every excuse. Then her tone changed. The crying stopped. The blame started. She said I was never home. That I made her feel alone. That I was always too tired or too focused on work. She said I never noticed her anymore. That I let the spark die. That I pushed her away. It wasn't even surprising. I had expected it. I knew sooner or later it would all be my fault in her eyes. She started pounding on the door again, voice sharp now, said I was being dramatic, said this wasn't how adults handled things, said we needed to talk like grown-ups, said we could fix it. I unlocked the door and opened it just a little. Not wide, just enough for her to see my face. She looked shocked to see me calm. Her eyes were red, makeup smudged, hair a mess. But I didn't see my wife anymore. I saw a stranger. I looked at her for a second and said only one thing. I didn't own you, but you owed me honesty. She opened her mouth like she wanted to say something, maybe argue, maybe cry again. I didn't give her the chance. I closed the door, slowly. No slam, just a quiet, final goodbye. She stood out there for a while longer, yelling again, then quiet, then nothing. After a while I heard her footsteps walk away. I stood there with my hand on the doorknob. Still, quiet, strong. This time I didn't open the door again. Word got around fast, it always does. By the next day, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Messages, missed calls, voice notes, some from old friends, some from people I hadn't heard from in months. Everyone had something to say. Some of them started with, "Hey man, I heard what happened. Are you okay?" Others went straight to opinions. "You really kicked her out? Is it true you changed the locks? Damn, bro, that's cold." A few of them didn't even bother asking how I felt. They just picked a side. Some said I overreacted, that I should have sat down with her, that maybe it was just a mistake, that I needed to work through it like a man, whatever that meant. They said things like, "Oh, she's still your wife, dude. People mess up." Or, "You're really gonna throw away all those years over one bad choice?" Others backed me completely. They said I should have done it sooner, that I went easy on her, that they wouldn't have been so calm if it had happened to them. One guy texted, "I wish I had your strength when it happened to me." Another said, "You did the right thing. Once trust is gone, it's over." Then her side started reaching out. Her sister messaged me asking what really happened. Her tone was gentle at first. She told me her side, but I want to hear yours. I didn't answer. Later she messaged again. This time, different tone. "You could have at least talked to her. She didn't deserve to be thrown out like that." Her cousin sent me a long message full of question marks and guilt trips. "You locked her out? Seriously? What kind of husband does that?" Then came the fake concern. The people who never called, never checked in, suddenly acting like they cared. "Just making sure you're holding up." Followed by, "But have you tried seeing it from her side?" Nobody asked about the moment I stood frozen in my own house, watching my wife with another man. Nobody asked what that does to someone. People love the drama. They love to pick it apart, like a movie. Who was right? Who was wrong? What should have happened? What would they have done? But none of them were there. None of them saw what I saw, heard what I heard. And after the third day of constant calls and messages, I stopped replying. I didn't owe anyone an explanation. I turned off the notifications, deleted some contacts, blocked a few numbers. I needed space. I needed silence. Because this wasn't their story. It was mine. I started waking up early again. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to. Mornings were quiet, and the silence started to feel less like loneliness and more like peace. I put on old sneakers, grabbed a towel, and went to the gym. The first time, I could barely do 10 minutes without feeling like quitting. But I didn't stop. I kept going back. At first, I didn't talk to anyone, just headphones in, eyes forward, one rep at a time. But slowly, it helped. Not just my body, but my mind. The sweat felt like I was letting go of something each time. Every drop carried a little pain out of me. In the evenings, I went to the diner down the road, the one we used to visit together. I took a booth in the corner and ordered the same thing every time: grilled chicken, fries, sweet tea, simple food, no memories attached. The waitress started to recognize me. She'd smile and call me sweetheart, and for some reason, that small kindness made the food taste better. Nights were the hardest. The house was quiet, too quiet. I'd sit on the edge of the bed, looking at the spot she used to sleep. I didn't miss her, not the person she became, but I missed who she used to be. I missed the little things, the way she'd hum while brushing her hair, the way she'd sneak snacks into the movies, the way her cold feet would find mine under the blanket. Sometimes I cried, not loud, just quiet tears that came without warning. They weren't about losing her, they were about losing the version of her I had loved so much, the version I thought was still there. But she wasn't. That version was already gone, long before I walked in on her with someone else. That man didn't ruin our marriage, she did, with distance, with silence, with secrets. I just didn't want to believe it back then. I kept thinking the change was temporary. That stress was to blame, that life had gotten in the way. But now I saw it clearly. She had been slipping away slowly, bit by bit, while I kept holding on tighter. The truth hurt, but it also helped. Because the more I faced it, the more I stopped asking why. The more I accepted what happened, the less power it had over me. Some nights I read a book until I got tired. Other nights I sat on the couch with the TV playing something I wasn't really watching, but I stayed off my phone. I didn't scroll through old pictures. I didn't check her profile. I didn't wonder where she was or who she was with. I focused on myself, one day at a time, and little by little I started to feel okay. It had been a few days of silence, no calls, no messages. Then one afternoon there was a knock at the door. Not loud, not rushed, just soft and steady. She stood there with her hands in her coat pockets, eyes tired, face pale, hair tied back like she didn't care anymore. She didn't yell, didn't cry. She just said, "I'm not here to fight." Her voice was low, almost like a whisper. She looked smaller than before, like the weight of everything was finally pressing down on her. She said she was staying with a friend, someone from work. Said it wasn't what I thought, that she wasn't jumping into anything. She just needed a place to breathe. I didn't say anything, just listened. She asked if we could talk. Not now, but maybe later. Said she still believed we could fix it. Said maybe therapy could help. Maybe we could sit down with someone and figure out what went wrong. Maybe there was still something left to save. She stood there waiting for a response. I looked at her. Not with hate, not with anger, just calm, cold, quiet, calm. I told her I didn't hate her, that I never would, because hate takes energy, and I had nothing left to give. But I said I didn't trust her, and without trust, love turns into a lie two people tell themselves to avoid starting over. She didn't argue, didn't deny it, just lowered her head and nodded slowly, like deep down she already knew that's what I'd say. There was silence for a while. Neither of us moved. It was like standing at the edge of something we both knew we couldn't cross anymore. She looked up and said she was sorry, truly sorry. I believed she meant it, but I also knew it didn't change anything. Sorry doesn't fix betrayal. It doesn't bring back the trust that was shattered. It doesn't erase the image of her with someone else. It doesn't make the pain go away. I told her I hoped she finds peace. I meant that too, not out of love, but out of closure. She turned to leave. No hug, no goodbye kiss, just a soft, "Take care of yourself," as she stepped away. I watched her walk down the path, past the yard, to the street. She didn't look back, and I didn't ask her to. That was the last time I saw her. No more knocking, no more texts, no more second chances. She was gone, for good. The house felt different now, empty but not in a bad way, more like quiet, more like mine. The first thing that went were the pictures, frames on the walls, shelves, bedside table, smiles frozen in time. They used to make the place feel like home. Now they felt fake. I packed them in a box and left it in the garage. Couldn't bring myself to throw them away yet, but I didn't want to see them anymore. The couch was next, too many memories, her legs across my lap, movie nights, arguments that ended in silence, both of us staring at the screen, but not really watching. I sold it online the same day, bought a new one, dark grey, firm clean, no history. I repainted the bedroom walls. They used to be light blue, her favorite. I went with warm grey, simple, calm. I didn't need favorite colors. I needed peace. I moved the bed to a different spot. It made the room feel new. I changed the sheets too. White, no patterns, no shared taste. Just mine. Sleeping in the middle of the bed felt strange at first, like I was breaking a rule, but then it started to feel right. No one pulling the blanket, no one turning their back to me, just space, just quiet, just me. I started reading again, books I'd left half finished, new ones too, crime novels, biographies, even poetry. It filled the silence without breaking it. I forgot how good it felt to lose myself in a story. I cooked for myself. Nothing fancy. Grilled chicken, rice, scrambled eggs, soup, simple meals made with my own hands. No one to impress, no complaints about salt, just food and quiet satisfaction. One weekend, I went to the shelter and found a dog. Black and white, floppy ears, brown eyes that looked like they'd seen too much. He didn't bark, just stared. I knew how that felt. I brought him home and named him Max. He followed me everywhere, slept near the couch, ate when I ate, sat by the door when I came home, tail wagging like I was the best part of his day. I told someone once, he's the only loyal creature in this house. They laughed. I didn't. I meant it. Day by day, I started to feel lighter, like I was cleaning out not just the house, but my mind too. I laughed again, first by accident, then on purpose, a joke on TV, Max chasing his tail. A memory that used to hurt, but now just made me shake my head. I didn't miss her anymore. I missed who I was before all of this. And now I felt like I was getting that person back, piece by piece, step by step. I was healing, and it felt good. Standing at the front door, the morning light hit just right. The lock caught a bit of the sun and gave off a soft glow. It looked new, strong, like it could keep anything out that didn't belong. It didn't look like the lock she used to open every evening, walking in with that tired smile and her heels in her hand. This one was different. This one was mine. Holding the key in my hand felt powerful, not because it locked her out, but because it meant I had finally let go. Not of the past completely, but of the version of myself that kept trying to hold on to something already broken. I wasn't waiting anymore. I wasn't hurting the same way. The ache had faded. What was left behind was quieter, steadier. This door had seen everything. Late night arguments, makeups and breakups, laughter, tears, the day she left, the day I changed the locks. But now it stood like a boundary, a line I had drawn for myself, a promise that whatever came next would only come through if it deserved to. I looked around the living room. Everything inside had changed. New couch, new paint, no photos, no traces of the life we once had. Just pieces of a new one being built, slowly, honestly, without lies or secrets. Max sat by the window, tail tapping the floor, his head tilted like he was waiting for a walk or a snack, or maybe just me to move again. I smiled at him, loyal without conditions, always happy to see me. No games, no betrayal, just presence. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel heavy. I didn't feel stuck. I felt ready. Not to chase someone, not to fix something that should have ended, but to keep walking forward, even if the road was empty for a while. Peace didn't come all at once. It came in little moments, quiet mornings, clean sheets, a full fridge, a wagging tail, a day without checking my phone, a night without needing answers, and now this lock, this key, this final quiet moment. She once told me I didn't own her, and she was right. People can't be owned, but now I own my peace. I own this space, this home, this quiet, this life I'm starting again. I don't need anyone to fill it, but if someone ever does come along, they'll have to earn their way in. No more open doors to broken promises. No more free access to my heart. No more chances for someone who doesn't choose me fully. I looked at the lock one last time, and turned the key with a soft click. Solid, strong, safe, just the way it should have always been.